Hey everybody, I am here with Anna joining us all the way from Germany, and I'm really excited because she is about to celebrate 6 years in business. Congratulations.
Thank you. I honestly wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you and finding 90 Day VA all those
Oh,
years ago.
oh,
So,
wow. Gosh. Well, I'm excited because we're going to talk a little bit about your journey in getting to the 6 years in business. We're going to start with what kinds of services and what kinds of things she started with, how that shifted and changed, because how you start is not how you last this long in the game.
so the first client I found was in a Facebook group, but it wasn't like a business Facebook group. It was like a self-care, like just a personal Facebook group that I was in. And someone like made a post just, I actually think it was a like some of those groups they'll do like it's Tuesday, so here's the
Yeah.
connection post, like share
Yeah.
your stuff. And so like I had was looking through those comments and someone had posted that they were making a course and they needed to know if there was a video editor or VA or someone who could help. And I was like, me, let me do it. So that was my first client through there. And so like I did some video editing for her for
Mhm.
her course. And then the next client I got from there was on Instagram. And so like before I even went full time with my business, I was just had my Instagram, had everything set up and just was posting about, all the things that I could do. People started finding me on there. And so I got my first client like 2 weeks after I did that video editing project for the
Mhm.
first gal, and then worked with that client. And I was her VA, and I was just doing a bunch of random things,
Yeah.
everything under the sun. Like, and then she told her friend, and then like they tell their friend, and it just grew and grew and
Yeah.
grew. And it's worked out to where to this day, like a lot of my clients are actually from that area still. That's the one thing is like if you do good work, then like they are going to refer you to other people, and it just totally snowballs from there in a good
People
way.
people don't really want to use websites or post jobs or use Upwork. They would rather do referrals. So if they're going to go to hire, they'll just start with asking their business owner friends. Referrals
Yeah.
helps things to get going.
I think a lot of times our clients don't even know if we're available or looking for more work. If you are, a lot of times it can just be like, hey, I have extra capacity for 2 clients this month. If you know anyone, let me know. They don't
True.
mind at all to share that.
They sometimes don't know all the services that you offer. Like you said, you may just do video editing for them, but you also can do all these other things and they didn't know and they have those needs.
Exactly. And so when I started, I was doing all kinds of VA work, and then I kind of like niched into podcast editing. And then I like took a totally other avenue and was like, I really want to work with influencers. And so I started doing blogging and Pinterest management, and then realized I actually don't like Pinterest at all. That algorithm I do not want
Mm.
to get super friendly with. And then I kind of was like, okay, before I do another pivot, what all these things that I've been doing, what is the common denominator here? And I think it's content repurposing because
Okay.
I'm doing podcast editing and they're having me take the podcast and they're like, okay, write the show notes for it, do a social media post, do an email, like all these different things. I also was doing that for people's blogs and for people's Pinterest with the influencers. And I was like, I'm just gonna do it as one overall thing. And that overall thing was content repurposing, which I learned in the 90 Day VA. And I was like, back then, I mean, I think that was like maybe like 2021, 2022 when I fully niched into that. And no one online was talking about content repurposing
I
at all
know.
back then. And so
I
I was
know.
like, this is it. This is me.
And it's interesting because I had the fear, and I think a lot of our students and people did, where AI was going to replace the need for you and the need for content repurposers. So, how has that impacted your business, if at all?
I mean, there's definitely a lot of people who for sure are using AI to repurpose content, but what I say is I think that's great if you want to do that, but it's repurposing shitty content. You're just putting out a message to all these different platforms and it doesn't sound like you. People know it's AI. And I think if that's what you want to do to say that you are on 5 different platforms, then I guess that's you, but I don't think that's the proper way to do it. I think there's still value, and I think we're actually going to see that more and more as the years go on with AI. I already see that on my feed these days, to where people are like, I miss the connection of knowing of like the human connection. You can tell immediately when someone's post is AI, and people are really missing that human connection.
So, if AI hasn't impacted your business a ton, what is your business like now? And I'm also curious, did you just change your title from virtual assistant, or how did you make that transition? And then what does it look like now?
So I did change my title. I did a whole thing on Instagram. I like did a whole live where I like went and was like, I'm changing it now. And it was a whole cute thing.
Oh, that
And
is
then
cute. I like how you made that into a thing. You didn't have
it,
to, but you did.
yes, I did. And that was also when I got my brand officially branded. And it felt so much better to do that because I just feel so much more of a representation of me to where I
Yeah.
felt so much more confident in how I was showing up online to where I was like, I am the freaking expert in this. I had no nervousness or hesitation behind going fully into that. And so I don't even know that I had set offers that I launched with or anything. I called myself back then, I was a content repurposing creatrix. And so that's what
Cute.
I called myself.
How
And
many
is
years in before you did that?
I think maybe 2 years, maybe like a year and a half.
That sounds about right. Yeah. So typically, a lot of our students will find that you're a virtual assistant. You try all different kinds of things for the first 6 months, up to like a year and a half, 2 years. And then you start to realize, in your case, content repurposing is really it. And it might not just be one thing, it might be two or three things that you really enjoy. And then you kind of shift your niche slightly to be that. So then, once you made that change, did you drop all your virtual assistant clients? What did you do?
No, I didn't. Well, it worked out because a lot of the clients of what I was doing, I was already doing content
Mm,
repurposing. I just wasn't calling it content
yeah.
repurposing, and they weren't calling me their content repurposer. And so, honestly, with a lot of the clients I was working with back then, I'm still working with today.
Wow.
And yeah, I would
Okay.
say half of my clients I've been with for 5 years. So
That's
I
amazing.
love them so much for that.
When you made that transition, how did it impact your business?
So it made it a lot easier for me to show up online because
Mm,
before when I wasn't like super niched in, I was like, okay, so like on Monday I got to post about podcast management and then the next day I got to post about blog writing and then I got to post like how do I fit all these different things to market myself and show what I'm doing. But once I was honed in to where I didn't feel too boxed in, but I just felt so much more confident in how I showed up and presented myself because I didn't feel like I didn't know what I was doing. It felt like I had professionalism
yeah.
behind it.
It made you have more confidence on the outside when your inside felt more confident.
Yes.
Interesting how that always works. What are the biggest things you think that have contributed to your success? It sounds like one that I heard was being willing to show up on social media and just kind of muddle your way through and celebrate things like changing your title and just like going for it.
Yeah, I think a big thing was really just showing up as me and not being afraid to toot my own horn. And in real life, I'm actually totally introverted, but online,
Okay.
I feel like you have to be that in a way because there really are so many people out there. Your clients and your potential clients can pick from really so many different people out there. And so, why are they going to pick you? And it doesn't mean that you have to be dancing on the camera or doing anything, but if they see that you have some common interests and maybe your common interests are I just like to stay home and hermit and do puzzles and read books. If they see that in you and recognize that in you, then that's great. And so I just showed up and just tried even when it was scary posting on stories and trying to talk on stories. I just had to get myself more comfortable with it. And then what contributed to that was once I had gotten that professional branding done, it made such a difference in my confidence and how
Mm.
I showed up. And then that trickled into all these different areas of my business. So I like got myself set up with proper systems on the back end. I was just using all these different random things to send contracts and then do an invoice. And I didn't have proper SOP, so to say, behind the scenes for how I was managing things. I sent out all these like really professional looking proposals and I've got automated emails and pretty invoices and all the things. It really niching in that sense really set myself up to where I was like, I am a business owner and I feel it on the inside and I look it on the outside now too, because they really are just trusting a random person on the internet. You
Yeah.
have to present yourself as a reliable, trustworthy person.
There's baby virtual assistant, and then there's the grown-up version of you. And I want to help you get to the grown-up, super shiny, rock star, amazing version of you. And the way that I did that with Anna, and the way that we can do that, is by working together in my Scale Society Mastermind. This mastermind comes with one-on-one coaching with me, as well as weekly group calls with other business owners that are working at your level. So they've either been a virtual assistant for a really long time, or they maybe have shifted a little bit into operations or something else a little bit higher end, but they're still struggling to grow beyond that. They feel pretty maxed out and they're not sure what else to do differently to get out of that hours for dollars type of a thing. And Anna is somebody that I worked really closely with to get some of these things going for her. And this is what she had to say about her experience in the Scale Society.
In the Scale Society Mastermind, not only have I been able to connect with just so many other awesome business owners who are along the same season of business that I'm in, but I've gotten such great custom one-on-one feedback and support from Esther. I have totally revamped my services that I'm offering for content and repurposing and feel so much more clear in them. I've made an awesome case study of all the work that I've done with clients over the past few years. I've launched a brand new freebie as well. There's so many different things in my business that I had on my to-do list of wanting to focus on for a while, but didn't have the momentum and the support to be able to really get those off the ground. And Esther really helped me do that. That was through the Voxer one-on-one coaching that we had, through one-on-one calls, through group calls. Also, there were so many other guest experts who have come into the mastermind to share all of their expertise and give insights as well. And it has been so beneficial to where I'm at in my business and where I'll continue to go.
I'm going to put the application to join Scale Society and learn all about everything that we do with business owners to help you grow at the bottom of this video. And I would love to take a look at your application and see if we can help you implement some systems, some automated marketing, all the things that make you actually look and feel on the inside like a true business owner, so that you can attract those types of clients and with the types of services and offers that are really going to help take you to the next level. So I hope to read your application. And those are all like seemingly small things. It's just shifting your systems. I had a saying when I was growing my business right around the phase that you're talking about, where I was like, okay, if I want to demand these higher end rates and attract higher end clients, then I have to look like I have that higher end business. You want to do $20 per hour VA tasks, then fine, have your $20 per hour looking stuff. But if you want to do 50 an hour or other stuff, then you better have something that looks like it's worth 50 an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
So my last question, because people always want to know about finding clients. This is like always the biggest thing. And so before we do that, I do want everybody to hear that it does not matter how much you do with the client world. If your social media looks like crap, you don't have a LinkedIn, you don't have a professional email address, you don't have anything, it's not going to matter what we tell you, because it's not going to go anywhere. We're going to do a part 2 to this so that you can hear how Anna got some of her best clients. Again, she's been booked out for 6 years, so girl knows what she's doing. I would just want to remind you again that my mastermind is enrolling right now. I would love to read your application, and drop a comment if you got something out of this video. What was a takeaway that you're going to go and implement in your own business to help elevate your brand, elevate your offers, elevate that pay rate? I would love to hear. So drop a comment. I'd love to hear, or share it with somebody you know who's doing online services as well, and apply for my mastermind, because I'd love to work with you and have the results just like Anna got in her business.